California just got some bad news. One of their biggest A-list stars has left the state. Sylvester Stallone decided to pack his bags and leave. And you know what that's doing? It's putting a dangerous stamp of approval on the hundreds of thousands of people that have already left, as well as denting the state's reputation as a crucible of all far-left policies. Watch now how Sylvester Stallone puts his foot down to announce his decision to his family during a recent airing of The Family Stallone Show on Paramount+.
After long, hard consideration, your mother and I have decided it's time to move on and leave the state of California permanently, and we're going to go to Florida. We're going to sell this house.
What? What?
Yeah.
Is this a joke?
It's not a joke at all.
You're full-time. No LA time.
Full-time. We already have the place. It's a done deal.
If it wasn't clear already, Sylvester Stallone's version of the overzealous woke fervor taking over his home state of California seems to be following a peculiar trend. It's not just notable celebrities and influencers leaving the state like Ben Shapiro, Sean Hannity, Joe Rogan, Graham Stephan, and Patrick Bet-David, but it's also ordinary citizens in the hundreds of thousands fleeing the state for its embrace of stringent taxation, regulation, and many leftist social policies under Governor Gavin Newsom. People and businesses are feeling the squeeze under the highest income tax of any other state at 13.3%. And looking at a map of states with the highest gas tax captures California in the haunting dark color as the state charges citizens 77.9 cents for every gallon of gas. Is it any wonder then that over 800,000 people just called it quits and left the state in 1 year alone? For someone like Sylvester Stallone, it may not be so much about the money, but the stifling social environment created with rising crime and a politically correct culture that's not resonating with a free-spirited creative mind like him. It's even more interesting where he's going to eventually move to, which is Florida. He already owns a massive estate in Palm Beach worth nearly a staggering $36 million. The First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis, actually welcomed the star actor to the state with a witty jibe at his former state of residence, writing on X. She said, quote, "Welcome to the free state of Florida. In addition to respecting and protecting your God-given constitutional right to be free, you can also buy toothpaste without having an armed guard at CVS unlock it for you." And it's not even just celebrities or Hollywood stars that have had enough. Here's former California State Representative Chuck DeVore laying out why he finally made the choice to move out of the Golden State that he's lived and served in his entire life.
So you're saying a lot of people are moving out of California and doing the same thing you did?
Yeah, about a net of 100,000 people every year move out of California into other states, the plurality of which move to Texas. They're mostly conservatives. There are a lot of entrepreneurs, people who have been driven out of California by the crushing regulatory burden of that state. And that's one of the reasons why the supplemental poverty rate in California is 39% higher proportionally than in Texas.
It's clear that there's a growing resentment among people for how this state is being run, almost becoming a large social experiment in how far left its policies can go. One of the most bizarre new policies created new monetary brackets for what is legally defined as shoplifting in the state. Simply put, any robbery or shoplifting below $950 worth of items from a store is not charged as a crime but as a misdemeanor, and as a result it's something the police rarely care to investigate and the prosecutors aren't very interested in pursuing. In other words, technically, shoplifting is not a crime anymore. It represents a new embrace of policies that can hardly be put on any political spectrum, and it's driving retail and chain stores out of the state in their droves. It's hard to blame them being left helpless even in the face of people waltzing in and brazenly shoplifting from the stores. A similar kind of disillusionment is happening in citizens as these businesses who just don't see their life, property, and freedoms safe anymore in the state of California. For someone like Sylvester Stallone, it's not even about politics. Stallone for long has distanced himself from making bold political statements even though he's spoken on social issues before. During the Trump administration, there was certainly a more cordial relationship that he developed with Donald Trump, which some people believe point to his slight Republican leanings. Watch their interaction during a ceremony honoring the late boxer Jack Johnson back in 2018.
I think it's great when a great champion comes to honor and even press that another great champion be honored. I think that's a great thing.
Yes, thank you.
I think that's a great thing. Now, you know, everybody knows Sly and what a job he's done. I tell you what, I love his movies, and I don't care if it's Rambo or Rocky. I still don't know which I like better, right? But Sly is a special guy, and he's more shy than you would think. So I won't even tell him, but if you want to say a word, you can, Sly.
Well, no pressure here, right? Okay, no, I want to thank you, Mr. President. It's incredible that you've done this, because it's one thing, I've been so blessed with the Rocky situation and playing that character, and actually, when I was writing it, I'm thinking about inspirations for this Apollo Creed, and that was Jack Johnson.
Interestingly enough, he's also almost become neighbors with Trump now that he's moving to his house in Palm Beach, Florida. He's also sold his Beverly Hills mansion for $58 million, taking not just his family, but also most of his property and investments out of California. However, he's also faced quite a bit of criticism and threats of cancellation for it. And it particularly came after Sylvester Stallone joined Trump's Mar-a-Lago club for the exquisite golfing grounds it offers. Regardless, it's clear that for a star like Sylvester Stallone, politics is not the primary reason that he's decided to make the shift, because he would have moved out a lot earlier if it was. The reason is likely the many social and economic policies that are moving further and further to the left, and shrinking the space for a creative and business mind like him. He's spoken about his political worldview separately, which is a topic that he hasn't talked about often most of his life.
I'm not a political animal in the sense that you don't see me out campaigning. I don't do any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know what a Republican was until I did Rambo, and I went, oh, I'm a Republican. I swear to you.
Wow.
Because I had a politically agnostic household. When Reagan came out and went, Rambo's a Republican, Rambo was a flag wave. I just thought he was a very patriotic person. I wasn't making a damn political statement.
Right.
But oh my God, it was on. It was on. And then Reagan, who was a nice guy, goes, after seeing Rambo, I know what to do in Libya. I go, stop! Stop! You know what I mean? It's a movie!
It's clear that he does still have a reverence for the kind of America he grew up in, and perhaps it's that degree of nostalgia that makes him lean more conservative in his political worldview. Sylvester Stallone defined the patriotic action hero figure in Hollywood for nearly 5 decades. And now in the later stages of his life, it seems like he's shedding the burden of his celebrity status to speak out more openly about his beliefs. In the last few months, there have even been rumors of him reportedly declining movie offers and sponsorships with companies that he thought would stifle the kind of freedom that he wants right now to speak and do as he likes. That is the kind of man he's been his entire life, being someone that wrote the character and movie of Rocky from the ground up. Sylvester Stallone is known to have insisted on playing the character himself instead of hiring another actor. It's because that's the image he saw himself in and wanted to portray that on the big screen as authentically as possible. Fun fact, I was in the background of the Creed movies and actually met Stallone. Maybe it's for that desire for raw authenticity as to why he's made the decision, and that's one thing that everyone can respect, regardless of which state or city they're from.